All right. Welcome back. Sound on Sports. Fatty, this is the last time we're going to talk before the big game. We're allowed to say Super Bowl, I think. I don't know.
Right.
I don't know what the
We're not
copyright. Yeah.
monetized yet, quite yet. We don't have
So,
any sponsors. And yeah, I mean, the big game, the Super Bowl, whatever you want to call it, Seahawks Patriots 2, Super Bowl 60. I always think it's kind of neat that we're in like an even number Super Bowl. I think that's pretty
yeah.
cool. But yeah, Super Bowl 60, cannot wait. I don't think it's really hit me yet. It hasn't registered that the Seahawks are like actually playing. It's been a really nice break. But yeah, I'm super
I don't
hyped.
know. I don't know if I'd say it's, dude, Sundays. I forget how much Sundays suck without football. Like, and then I went on and I didn't even realize the Pro Bowl was on Tuesday. Like, why is the Pro Bowl on Tuesday?
Yeah, you mentioned that, and I didn't even know. And then, to be honest, we've been so focused on the Seahawks season where I'm missing out on Senior Bowl coverage. So they've been playing all week, and I think they played last week. There was barely any coverage, which is really weird because it's typically a staple of the draft and things like that. So
Who are
that
the
was pretty
Giants going to
shocking.
draft? If there's no coverage of the Senior Bowl, who are the Giants going to draft? Because I was watching a TikTok and they just pick off Giants or
And
Senior
their
Bowl
son,
quarterbacks.
their GM son knows ball. He wanted to draft Jaden Daniels, and look where he's at now. So
Yeah. What's the plans for Super Bowl? Are you a big party guy? You big what's the thought there?
well, I mean, I typically do a big party. Last year when it was Eagles Chiefs, we did a really, really big party. But then now that it's the Seahawks, I'm like, we're locking in. We're only having a few people over. Like, I just don't want to host. I don't really want to cook that much. I just want to sit, and I'm going to be less stressed probably than when we were playing the Rams, but I still want to watch every single snap and not miss a second. So you never know when you're coming back. I mean, this is 12 years in the making, the ups and downs of Russell Wilson leaving, Pete Carroll, all the franchise icons. So this is a new era of Seahawks football, and hopefully we're here to stay.
Dude, how different would the Seahawks be if we would have ran the ball? Like, think about the history of the Seahawks there. If we would have won back-to-back last time,
Right.
who knows if it would have been this big of a gap? Like, that's crazy to think about.
Right.
But I don't know if I want to think about that because we're going to run the ball if we get it at the one.
Right.
Kenneth
Yes,
Walker under
absolutely.
5-yard rushing touchdown is going to hit 100%.
Yeah.
Inside the 2, it's going to hit.
Yeah, for sure. Well, before we go into kind of doing our Super Bowl preview, I wanted to bring up two different housekeeping items. One is officially confirmed, and one's more of a rumor. Confirmed, the Las Vegas Raiders are hiring our offensive coordinator, Clint Kubiak, after just 1 year with the Seahawks as their new head coach. So he will join Geno Smith, Ashton Genty, potentially Fernando Mendoza, and he will take over as head coach down in Vegas. There are rumors that he'll bring most of the offensive staff to be under him and have more of a, I don't know how you say it, more control, as well as potentially bringing our defensive coordinator to actually call defense, which is good for him. He doesn't necessarily do much play calling in defense as Mike calls every snap, but it seems like a little bit of a max exodus for Seattle. But to be honest with you, I'm not really in that mindset right now. I'm super happy for Clint. I'm happy for Vegas. I feel like they're in a unique spot. And this was a great hire out of our conference, and I wish him the best of luck.
Yeah, I mean, I'm happy for him. I'm not really thinking about it too much at all. Like, I'll think about this in a week and a half from now when I'm fully into celebrating the Super Bowl. All I'm saying is the Raiders just love to recycle ex-Seahawks. Like, they just like to take
Yeah,
out everything from us. Like, go get Pete, go get Geno, go get Jamal Adams, like all
right.
these guys. And clearly it has not worked for them. So hopefully Kubiak can go and turn that around. But
For sure.
that's
For
next week's
sure.
problem. We don't care about that right now. We're
For
focused on the
sure.
game.
And
Game
then
only.
another problem, maybe, or not even a problem, just another thing to keep in mind, Seahawk fans, there has been rumors that have been confirmed and denied that Jody Allen is entertaining selling the team after the Super Bowl, win or lose. This was always going to be the long-term plan. After Paul Allen's passing, he obviously gave it to his family to facilitate the sale. And I think they were just kind of picking and choosing when that time would be. But it is crazy because the estimated value of the Seahawks is looking to be about $7 to $8 billion. So think about it. I actually want to see Paul Allen, the price of when he bought the team, but that is nuts.
Yeah, it's insane. And to be once again, this is a next week problem. We will deal with this next week. But
Yeah.
all I'm saying is that it's been proven in sports, your owner really, really decides your franchise's fate. Like
For
there's so many
sure.
teams out there that have garbage owners, and that proves to be a problem. So I just pray that if this is true, if the Jody Allen is selling, which seems like she is, that we end up getting someone who really does care about the Seahawks, about Seattle, and is willing to spend money because sorry, but Moneyball does not really work. And
No,
so
absolutely, and a huge thing about Paul Allen, a tribute to him and his family. I mean, he bought the team in 1997 for 194 million dollars, and that staved off a Southern Californian relocation. So he really cared about the city. A man of immense wealth that always gave back philanthropically to the Pacific Northwest. And yeah, I just know this money is going to a good cause per his wishes. And yeah, I think that somebody asked me that, oh, if the Seahawks got sold, does that mean we're relocating? I couldn't imagine anyone in their right mind thinking and watching the Seattle Seahawks saying, yeah, their fan base doesn't deserve an NFL team. So I know it'll probably be like an ownership group, but it's going to be interesting. And it's just another thing to cover on this podcast and enjoy the offseason. But I think confidently we can shift into our final preview of Super Bowl 60.
yeah, I think it's time, and let's bring it up. Boys,
Wow.
we're locked and loaded. Beautiful graphic we got here.
Graphic design is J. Ross's passion.
I guess it is. Yep, that's full-time job now it is. But notice a big game because once again, did not want to get copyrighted, but we're running it back. Seahawks, Patriots. I mean, when you look just on these base level, like obviously there's just basic stats, not much underlying. This looks like a really good matchup, right? I mean, two teams that can be exciting, two teams that have really strong defenses. The Patriots defense has really proven itself throughout this playoff run, albeit you can argue how quality of opponents and how good of situations they've had to play in this run to the Super Bowl, but that's kind of the story of the Patriots all year. And as for us, we're studs. Our defense is loaded. Our offense has proven that we can score against anyone. So, Fatty, what's your initial thought?
Yeah, I mean, I just have taken some time to really peel back the Patriots from surface level. I think, obviously they didn't necessarily have to go through a gauntlet to get here, but it's still a remarkable feat to make the Super Bowl. And I think they do have a fighting chance if I had to play devil's advocate. But just kind of peeling back and going underneath the surface a little bit. Some positives and negatives previewing the Patriots as a whole is the Patriots offense, although they are quarterbacked by MVP finalist Drake May, they're one of the league's least explosive units. They rank bottom 5 in yards per play and in scoring. So if you compare that to Seattle's defense, which finished top 10 in pressure, it matches up well with New England's offensive line. They've allowed pressure on 34 to 36% of their dropbacks, which is well above league average. But like I mentioned last week or during the NFC Championship, it's going to take a little bit more than the power of friendship. We're going to need Leonard Williams, DeMarcus Lawrence to really coach up that defensive line and force Drake May out of the pocket and maybe play make on his own. That being said, we got to give credit where credit's due. New England's defense and Mike Vrabel's, culture that he has set the foundation of year one. They are fundamentally sound. They are top 10 in red zone efficiency allowed, and they're top 12 in EPA on early downs. So what that means is they force long drives and capitalize on mistakes. And that is something that Seattle has really struggled, is sustaining those drives and finishing in the red zone. We've talked about it with Sam Darnold, but I'm over the narratives of his individual performances. But it seems like every time the Seahawks have struggled, it's them putting themselves into that situation. So bottom line, if you want to look apples to apples, the Patriots average about 16 to 18 points per game and held their opponents to about 20 points, whereas Seattle's averaged about 22 to 24 points a game. But their scoring has significantly dipped against top 12 defenses.
Yeah, Fatty's stats will be a little different. This is just straight from ESPN, regular season only, so it doesn't include any of the playoffs. But
for sure,
the one thing that I will say about this matchup is this is going to sound so dumb. Like, obviously, whoever can take the lead early is really going to just set the tone for this whole game, because both of these teams, when they take a lead, especially in the second half, they will just keep the clock moving. They'll keep the ball on the ground. They'll run you to your death. And I really think that that'll be the decider in this game where, we can't really play with our food. There's been a lot of games this year, I feel like, with the Seahawks especially. I mean, I saw a TikTok the other day where it's like, whatever Mike Macdonald says at halftime, please inject that into my blood, because the Hawks had so many games where 6-6, 7-3, like terrible, not looking good in the first half, and then we just come out in the second half and just. And the Patriots are a team that kind of scare me to do that, because if you give them a lead anywhere in the second half, Mike Vrabel has no problem just keeping the ball on the ground, not making mistakes, and just milking every second off of that clock, which I think is going to be huge. The other thing that my dumb little brain, like, I'm looking at the Patriots run to the Super Bowl, and it's like, did they play it before the game? Fans are like, okay, there's a legit chance this unit is going to give the Patriots any trouble. Like, Justin Herbert in the playoffs, bad. Like, I've said that. Like, not, everyone knew that was coming. CJ Stroud, bad. As much as Brody loves CJ Stroud, objectively bad. Playoffs, bad this year. And then, all respect to Stiddy. They came up against Stiddy, right? And I know this is like super basic, playing in the snow. Okay, CJ Stroud, incapable of keeping the ball off the ground. And then the Chargers with no offensive line. But this is really the first test the Patriots have had this whole playoff run of playing a legit, competent offense that has more than one way that can beat you. And that's just something that gives me a lot of confidence. And, we started the narrative, but it's kind of been proven true. Seahawks off of bye are pretty deadly.
Yes,
like an extra week off. I mean, we made that joke as we were going into the playoffs because it kind of made us skeptical about it that we played the Commanders off our bye. But we played the Commanders off our bye, complete BTA, and that was when people still thought the Commanders had some life. That Niners game was not a game. Wasn't worth watching. Could have turned it off 30 seconds in. So, who knows? And hey, the Seahawks there's a 50% chance or 33.3% chance that we'll have a crazy hot start. We'll have a kick return touchdown at some point in this game. Who knows? So,
yeah,
I really
absolutely. And I know we haven't really dipped into media day that much. I know it's obviously coming up as teams are starting to check in and travel and practice, but it's just like, look at the difference in vibes. I mean, Mike Vrabel is a guy that obviously you'd want to run through a wall for, but also Mike Macdonald is another person that I don't think gets enough respect in that regard. But the Patriots had like a pep rally going away. We're going to the Super Bowl. And they all cheered. Everybody on the Seahawks, head down. This is a business trip. We do not care. AJ Barner, shout out the M's hat and that shirt. That was badass. But yeah, it's just there's kind of a different vibe. We're kind of like this blue collar, like head down to the nose to the grindstone, like job's not finished. And I love that mindset. I do feel a little bit, I don't want to slander the Patriots at all, but they're kind of playing like we're happy to be here. And if we win, I mean, that's even better.
Which is so funny coming from the Patriots, like of all franchises with all head coaches, you're like, which team would, play the been there, done that title town type of vibe? It literally would be the Patriots. And instead they're over here playing cheerleader.
And they're not necessarily a fluke. Do I think they're going to be a juggernaut in the AFC? It's hard to tell. It's year over year, but I don't think they're necessarily going to miss the playoffs next year. And I think they might, give Buffalo another run for their money in the division, but it's definitely an interesting opponent for sure. And we knew we were going to get that out of the AFC. We knew what we had in the NFC, and we conquered that. So I guess my other 2 points or discussion topics that I really wanted to cover are both quarterbacks. And we'll start with Sammy the Seahawk. Obviously the Patriots defensive line, we've talked about it. It is performing very well. There's some veterans on that line that are scary. So the question is, can Sam Darnold sling it and survive that pass rush?
I think so. I mean, I have full confidence in him. And you know what? I think he's finally gotten that monkey off his back where the Sam Darnold thing goes. That narrative is officially out the window because he's proven it against the team that's given him the most ghosts, and he's proven it multiple games now. That Rams game, he's proven he can win it in a shootout. And I'm honestly not too scared about it because just even as dumb as it sounds, like the vibes going into the game, the Hawks just kind of keep their head down. And I trust that even if Darnold isn't playing the best, like Kubiak off the bye will have a way to settle the team down and not really force Sam Darnold to have to make a crazy play. We've done pretty good at being able to, yes, he has to make that big throw to JSN every so often, but we're just limiting mistakes. And if we don't put ourselves in a spot where Darnold has to be Superman, I don't think we really need to worry about the pass rush that much.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think that he is in his zone right now. I also think he's going to be fully healthy. I know he was battling that oblique injury throughout the playoffs, and I think we saw some wear and tear in the NFC Championship. But bottom line is this: we saw a perfect Sam Darnold during the NFC title game and a near perfect Sam Darnold in the divisional game as well. So we don't know if this is kind of changing the narrative a little bit or if this was just really his best 2 games as a starter. We just don't know with the time off. But here's the thing. Uh, Darnold has posted a career best turnover worthy play rate this last season, albeit he led the NFL in turnovers with a couple, 15 picks and a couple fumbles. But Seattle's offensive line has improved year over year, and Darnold's ability to get the ball out quicker than quarterbacks that he succeeded is a huge difference maker. But that being said, Darnold historically struggles under pressure. His passer rating drops roughly 40 points when pressured versus clean pockets, which you could hypothetically argue for every quarterback when they're getting pressured. They're not at their best, but it seems like that's Sam Darnold's kryptonite. We saw it during the Rams, both when he was on the Vikings and that first game. He just struggles with making the correct reads, but it's honestly insane that when kept clean, Darnold has posted an EPA and just play numbers comparable to top 10 QBs. Like, it puts him right in that discussion, but under pressure, his completion percentage over expected plummets to the bottom 5 in the league over all qualified quarterbacks. So it's like, you clearly just don't know what you're going to get, but I think trends are telling me that he's going to have a very composed game and they're going to game plan for that pass rush.
Yeah, I'm not too worried about it at all. And I wonder, going back, sounds dumb again, but that extra week of preparation where that's just one more week where Sam Darnold can really have it locked in where I just don't think that we'll put ourselves in a spot where he's needing to go and make a crazy play like that. Like, he'll have the dump off option, he'll be able to we're going to keep the ball on the ground as much as we can. I don't think that we're going to put Sam Darnold in a spot where we need him to wait in that extra second in the pocket that much. And I don't know. I don't like how confident I'm feeling about this game to the point, like, that's my biggest fear. I feel like Seattle sports in general, whenever I'm looking and I'm like, we're going to win this game, we always find a way to make it more stressful than it needs to be. And
Absolutely.
we'll see, because I think once we get closer to the game, I'll eventually, start questioning the spread a little bit more and think it's a little more scary. But right now I'm way too confident, and that is my biggest fear. I don't see us losing this game. And I really, really don't like that.
Oh, absolutely. And I, like I said, I think we have a little bit of swagger to us. I think we have a more proven path than the Patriots have. I don't care what anybody tries to give them credit for their schedule. We've had to go through an absolute gauntlet in the NFC. I've been saying it since the first episode of this podcast.
You know why they're trying to hype up the Patriots path here so much? Because they're
Why is
trying
that?
their best. They're trying their best to erase the narrative that they've had a cakewalk the whole way. Like, that's literally been the story of the Patriots. They've
Right.
had one of the easiest regular season schedules of all time, and then on paper, the offenses they played have not been good, and that's not something you want going into a Super Bowl. So obviously they're going to spin it. And to be fair, they have played good defenses, but outside the Texans, when you look at it, it's not like they're putting up like insane numbers. They scored
Right.
16 points on the Chargers, and they scored 10 points on the Broncos. It's not like they were going out and dropping 38 points on a legit defense, right? Like,
That's true. That is honestly a good point. I didn't really think about that, especially with the AFC Championship game being 10-7, albeit the weather impacted that as well. But I mean, I guess the last point before we get to our official score predictions is just Drake May. I mean, we gotta give credit to Drake May when it is due. The man has taken the Patriots to the Super Bowl in just his second year. He's led the offense, albeit a little bit one-dimensional or kind of dependent on him. He doesn't really have necessarily that much of a running game. It's been a running back by committee. His top receiver has been Stephon Diggs, which is crazy. But obviously he's going to be an X factor for the Patriots, and it's going to be like, can he rise to the occasion, or will he have some fits against the dark side?
yeah, it'll be but at the end of the day, we beat the other MVP candidate already on the way here. So there's no reason why we're scared to match up against anyone, right? Like, we had to take Stafford out. We're just going to take out the other MVP. And so I think we definitely need to get that pressure up front. We need a big game from Lawrence. We need a big game from Byron Murphy. Crazy,
sure.
by the way, that this guy was not in the Pro Bowl, but Shedeur Sanders is. Can we acknowledge that for a second? Like
Right.
Shedeur Sanders,
Absolutely.
and he's a GOAT, Joe Flacco, but these guys made it. There are 2 Browns quarterbacks who made it over, made the team, and he didn't. So that is crazy.
For
But
sure.
I think as much as we talk about the pressure will really affect Sam Darnold, I think we need to get the pressure to Drake May, and that'll be a big key to us winning this game just in general.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest with you, I think the biggest difference or potential X factor on our defensive game plan is going to be those disguised blitzes, and that is a Mike Macdonald, staple. The ability to put linebackers on the line like Eamon Worry and Ernest Jones, and think, make Drake May think the pressure's coming, and then pop out into coverage and make a quick play at the short pass. I think that's going to be huge. I think it's going to be less of a get after Drake May than just contain him, hold him in the pocket, make sure he's not rolling out. We saw in the Denver game, and we've seen, obviously throughout the playoffs and throughout the season in his MVP campaign, he's able to move with his legs and extend plays.
The timely scrambles that he pulls off are scary. That's what scares me a lot. Where
he's got a Bo Nix element to it, for sure.
And it's like those 3rd and 4th situation.
Right, exactly. And it just makes it sucks because it would have been so cool to see him battle Bo Nix for that, but they're kind of the same quarterback in that regard. So obviously we haven't played him before in the regular season. When we played the Patriots last year in Mike Macdonald's first year, they were still piloting Jacoby Brissett. So it's not like he has played against the Seahawks before, but it's just going to have to be contain, because he's averaged about 8 to 10 yards per scramble in college and in the pros. And Seattle could be privy to, hey, Stafford wasn't really scrambling that much. Brock Purdy's kind of stationary. So it's going to be, let's end the plays. Let's make sure they're not extending and beating us over the top.
Do you buy into all the whole made up media narrative of Darnold against the Patriots? Like,
no, I don't, because it's been night and day what situations he's been in. I think the Jets set him up for failure there. He was with a horrible coach. And even when so he's on Carolina with Matt Rule, who plays a freaking option style quarterback. I mean, this is like, it's going to be interesting who Seattle replaces Clint Kubiak as an offensive coordinator. But there was, murmurs that it was going to be Chip Kelly before Clint Kubiak. And it's like, imagine Sam Darnold trying to run a college style offense where he might need to run the ball a couple times. It's like, I'd rather have Darnold stay in the pocket and before trying to be, a mobile quarterback that he once was. So, I don't know. I think it's very situational, and there's not a lot of sample size there.
Yeah, I just think it's dumb. I mean, you look at his whole career arc. Like, he was in the worst situation possible for himself. And I mean, it's been proven. You throw pretty much anyone in at the Jets quarterback, and they just have no chance. So I don't buy into that. And I mean, there was no way to succeed on that Panthers team either. So I think the fact that people are even bringing that up is just Patriots fans coping, trying to, fix themselves into feeling confident, which some of them seem confident online. I don't really know why, but I guess I don't know why I'm so overly confident either.
Well, but you know what? At some point, you got to just go to the game back in your squad, and there's nothing wrong with a little overconfidence. Our co-host seems to be a little bit cocky and a little bit more abrasive, and I think I bounce off him
Brody?
a lot. Wait,
Brody,
pause.
never.
Brody, I bounce off Brody all the time, all day, all night.
But
but honestly, I think it's good to have a little bit of swagger and a little bit of confidence that you're going to be able to, to just win the whole damn thing. That's how I felt immediately after the NFC Championship. But okay, that's enough statistics for the fans at home. It is time for the Sound On Sports Super Bowl 60 official predictions. J. Ross, why don't you start us off? What is your prediction for the score? Maybe give an MVP or a key play that you think is going to happen.
I think we're going to win.
Hell yeah.
I think, okay, it's chalk, but I think Darnold gets MVP, and I don't think that it'll necessarily be deserved. I think it was more just be like narrative. Quarterback gets the MVP. You know what I mean? I don't think it'll be JSN. I just think that'll be what they expect. I trust the Patriots. I think JSN will still have a good game and will still get a touchdown, but I don't think I don't expect to see his, 115-yard typical JSN in the bowl game for Ohio State type of stat line. So I think it'll end up being Darnold MVP. Like I said, I think we're gonna get a short yardage rushing touchdown. So I don't know necessarily one, but inside the 2, inside the 3. K9's gonna run for a touchdown, and the memes online are gonna be insane. Just has to happen. Has to happen.
Or why don't we just drop back and actually throw a touchdown from the 2-yard line? Why don't we just silence it all there? I mean, we could run it in, but also just say fuck it. See, the play does work.
Imagine they run back the same play to score. Imagine this. Imagine
Right, and be like, we're 1 for 2. At least we're 50% success rate there than 0.
To be fair, hey, this is not my idea, and it'd be dumb. To be fair, if we get the ball at the 1, a quick slant's probably the play that the Patriots will be least expecting.
Just try it. Just try
it. Literally, what could go wrong? I'm trying to think what could go wrong. I guess you could throw a pick.
Yep.
Like the last couple seconds and lose the game.
Right.
I guess that has happened before.
Okay, so you think we're going to win. Do you have any idea roughly what the score is going to be? And you don't
This
have to
is
be an
me.
expert on it.
This is me stalling because you have to give it an official score, and I'm gonna say, 20. 24-17 Seahawks.
It's a good one. It's a good one.
I was going back and forth between 31-24.
That's
or
funny.
24-17, but I don't know if we're gonna put up that many points.
Right. Yep. I'll preface mine by saying this. New England is a type of team where if we lose the turnover battle, they're going to thrive and just hold on to the ball. Time of possession is going to be very important. So when you're watching the game and you want to not enjoy yourself like I do all the time, just think of things like time of possession, red zone efficiency, and third down efficiency. How many
Fatty's
first
just
downs?
over here. Where everyone else is over here chugging beers, eating hot dogs. Fatty's just over here chewing every fingernail, stressing about the TOP of this game.
I should have grew him out. But honestly, I think the Seahawks are going to come out very well composed. I think that obviously coming off a bye, coming off a little bit of rest, I do think it might be a little slow start, but I really think toward, the third or fourth quarter, both teams are going to turn it on. So I think it's going to be like it's a battle back and forth, maybe a couple field goals. We're going to go into half, maybe up by 3, up by 7, or maybe tied. And then Bad Bunny's going to come out. He's going to do his thing. And then the second half is going to be a bloodbath. It's going to be a bloodbath back and forth. I think the Seahawks capitalize. As much as people are anticipating Darnold to have a couple picks, I think Drake May is going to have a couple picks. And I think that honestly, we're going to get a pick 6 or a fumble, a scoop and 6. My final prediction is going to be Seattle 31, New England 17. And I think we're going to be up by, obviously we're going to be up by a little bit. And then that final defensive score is going to just be nail in the coffin and New England's going to be scrambling. So I do think it's going to be a close game. Like you said, like 24-17 for sure, but I'm thinking 31-13 Seattle.
Okay. I'll add one more prediction. I'm going to say defensive touchdown for the Hawks too. Actually, I'm not going to. There will be a defensive touchdown. I'll put that elsewhere. I think Woolen gets a pick in this game.
Whoa!
I don't know what it is. I think he rights his wrong. He gets a pick. I'm not going to say it's going to be a big pick, or every pick at Super Bowl is big, but he's going to make a big play. He's going to find a way to get an interception. And 6 months from now, non-Seahawks fans, what they'll remember from this run is Tariq Woolen getting a pick in the Super Bowl and forget about the fact that he almost cost us the playoffs.
And he's going to get paid because of that Super Bowl. That's a bold prediction. I kind of like that.
He's going to get paid whether he balls out or not because he was a legit cornerback on a Super Bowl favorite. So, bro is getting a bag to go to Cincinnati and be a upgraded Eli Apple. But we'll talk about that in the offseason.
All right. Well, before we shift to the rest of the Seattle sports, which we have plenty to talk about, by the way, we're going to wrap up the Super Bowl preview with a little segment I like to call, created by this guy in his own noggin, called Super Bowl Stigmas. And this is just kind of a rapid fire segment that I like. We're going to go over a couple things, little not too analytical, just fun little questions. But we're going to start off with J. Ross, who I don't think has gambled ever before, but
no, I'm
J.
trying to figure out what
Ross,
a prop bet
what
means.
is your favorite prop bet to bet on the Super Bowl? Are we a national anthem guy? Are we a heads and tails? Are we a Gatorade color halftime performance? Like what are you looking for on the bet slip for Super Bowl?
To be honest, I haven't looked at the odds for any of it yet, but there's something about heads or tails that is just so fun at the start of the game. Get the blood going at the start. It's not quite as fun when your team's in it, because usually that's okay, I don't care who wins. Here's my sheet, what squares do I got? What other dumb things? What color is it going to be? And the coin flip is like that first for me. We're like, okay, this is awesome. I'm not too big into the national anthem. I don't like having to do, if it's fun stuff like that, I don't like having to research how long someone can hold their high note. That's just not really
Right.
it for me. So I got to say that heads or tails. I will say, if you're, don't bet because gambling's bad. I'm liking that defensive touchdown we talked about. I think that's a fun one.
I know.
That's a
I
fun, but
know.
I wouldn't bet, and because I wouldn't bet, I think it's dumb and not as fun to bet on games that your team plays in,
For
because
sure.
then you find yourself rooting for things besides what might be best for your team to win. I want to sit there and lock in, and all I care about is the Seahawks hoisting the trophy at the end of the game. And I don't want to have to worry about if, okay, it's 3rd and half a yard with however many seconds left. I hope they throw it to JSN for some unknown reason so we can get his passing yards. I don't find that fun.
Right.
So
Absolutely.
we're going to say the coin toss so then we can focus on the game.
And you know what? I will say, like, a non-betting little tidbit about the coin toss. Whoever wins the coin toss loses the game historically. I mean, we had a streak where 5, 6 Super Bowls where the team won the coin toss and then ended up losing the game. So you almost hope that Seattle loses, then comes out hot on offense, and then we just roll from there. But in terms of my favorite prop bet, I'm a little bit different than Jay Ross. I'm a huge national anthem guy. I don't even know who's singing the damn national anthem for the Super Bowl.
I think it's Charlie Puth, right?
Charlie Puth. All right, confirm that as I do a little side story. When I was an intern, when I was a wee lad at the Arkansas Travelers Baseball Club, I started a thing, and there was no cash involved, so go ahead and investigate. There was no cash, but we always did over-unders for the national anthems. We always timed them, and it was a fun time. We did that freaking 80 times that summer, even when we felt dead. So huge over-under national anthem. I feel like you just get fired the hell up. So is it Charlie Puth?
It can confirm it is Charlie Puth.
Can confirm. I'm feeling like not going to give any gambling advice. Just, impress the girl at the Super Bowl party. I'd say a little bit over. I feel like he's going to get theatrical with it. He's going to, not just the high notes, but he's going to be like, got a little build up there. So, I'm going to smash the over there.
I like it. I respect it. Maybe I wouldn't, but maybe I would sprinkle that if I was going to sprinkle something like that.
Right. Exactly. And then there's always the Gatorade color in your favorite commercial. Those are fun things to think about as well. But now, obviously, I'm not having a cool party. J. Ross, not sure what you're going to be doing, but in your opinion, what is the best food to bring to the party? Let's just say that you can cook anything. You have all the cooking abilities. What's going to be like, damn, J. Ross stole the show there?
I don't know if it stole the show, but the one thing that's like, if this is on the platter in front of me, I'll eat half of it. I will mess up a good buffalo chicken dip. I don't know what it is.
Fuck, you took mine. Go ahead. Keep going.
We are on the same wave. Backstory. Maddie texts me and says, can we film a little later? I'm at the gym right now. And I said, same. I said, what are you hitting? He said, chest. I said, same. Everything. We're on the same wavelength.
And now we just want to crush some post-workout buffalo chicken dip. But please go into it, because I'm curious why you think it's a game changer.
I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's just a good buffalo chicken dip I can eat forever. And it's one of those foods where I know it's not healthy, but it feels healthier than the other options on the table. And so I find myself eating way too much cream cheese and hot sauce and shredded chicken. And it's just so good.
Yeah.
Have to use Philadelphia cream cheese, though.
Non-sponsored. For sure. No,
Shout
you can't skimp on the cream chease. Some people put ranch in it. I'm not too much of a ranch fan. I feel like that's like something you have to add on to it if you want to get crazy with it.
I don't know what mayo brand they were advertising, instead of using cheese, to use mayo. That makes it a literal like soup consistency. That's jail time. That's jail time. That
Yeah.
deserves at least 6 to 7 months.
Yeah.
That was
Americans
not meant. Don't do
need
that.
more
Okay.
mayo.
Yeah.
We don't need more freaking mayo. But yeah, a good buffalo chicken dip, man, especially when it's bubbling. It's got to be bubbling. Yeah, but that's a good one. I think I'll audible. I'll be a Super Bowl winning quarterback and hit a little audible. I think for mine is honestly, you got to show up with the best dessert. And that can be a
Sure.
variety of different things, but people are going to get like the store-bought, green and blue cookies or cupcakes or the brownies that sit in that little plastic container and just get stale. Man, if you ball out last year, shout out my girl Kendra that came over for the Super Bowl last year. She had yogurt dipped pretzels and they were designed like the yard markers and they were so freaking good. I think I had 20, man. And like you said, not healthy, but mindless and just amazing.
See, but you hear yogurt, you're like, okay, it's not that bad. So it
Right,
plays.
but it's flavored, covered in sugar, chocolate dipped. But yeah, you should like listen, if you're hosting, let's get a fountain in there. Let's get a queso fountain. Let's get a chocolate fountain. I mean, that would be legendary. So
let's read our group chat earlier, not to expose you, but I've been working on eating strict for 3 weeks. Let's revisit that after Super Bowl Sunday and see if we are both abiding
discipline.
by that.
There's going to be a lot of discipline. For me, we're going for me, we're going to be doing wings, and we're going to, instead of doing sauce, little pro hack, you just do some dry rubs. So we're going to get lemon pepper is a staple, but you get a little spicy dry rub. And then you know what? Just coat it a little bit in sauce. You don't got to deep fry it. You could grill the chicken and do a little Super Bowl on a cut. But you know what? For those out there that are on fitness journeys like me and J. Ross, just enjoy yourself. Just enjoy yourself. Budget the calories and just sit back.
You can have Thanksgiving, you can have Christmas, and you can have Super Bowl Sunday. You can have as many calories, as many, if you're of age, liquid calories you want. Enjoy yourself. Have good
Even
time.
if you're not of age, crush that freaking 2 liter of Coke, like.
True.
Fuck.
That's your time. Yeah. When you're younger, Super Bowl party was the one time a year where it's like, I would knock back like 5 or 6 sodas. And it's like that orange Fanta, gone. That root beer, gone.
Absolutely. And it could be a canon moment. Like if your pop's like, son, here's your first beer. Go Seahawks. Just take it. Just take it and enjoy the ride. Like I don't endorse minors drinking, but hey, just enjoy yourself.
Of age. We'll preface that.
Of age.
You're 21.
And if
you're 21.
Whether you're 0 or 99, if you're drinking, get a ride home. That's huge. Get a ride home. Don't overdo it. Don't get on the roads. Don't be stupid. Stay the night, sleep on the couch, get a ride, and drink responsibly at the end of the day. But okay, we're going to go off the table and we're going to go on the screen. Super Bowls are also notorious for their commercials. What are your opinions on the way commercials are now? Do you have like an all-time favorite, or are you even paying attention when they're happening?
When I was younger, absolutely, and it sounds old-timer, back in my day, but I just don't find them as interesting. I don't think they're as fun now. And yeah, I'll watch them and I'll be like, oh, and I'll honestly just sit there and hate watch them now. I feel like I find myself just watching them and be like, that is not funny. But, we'll see. Mr. Beast claimed that people can make millions off his commercial this year. So maybe this time it'll be different. I'm just waiting we got to have one good Doritos commercial. There's always one good Doritos commercial.
They always kill it. The Clydesdale horses and the Budweiser, and you just like start crying or something. I hate the ones that you're crying. Like, why in the hell are we crying? It's a fucking car commercial. Why are we
the puppy one, or the puppy ones that always come on where it's like save a dog? Like let's skip those this year.
Yeah, please.
I want tears of joy. I don't want to cry.
No, I just want to be fat and happy. And I mean, for commercials, I'm always for it because I feel like it brings the non-sports demographic over. I feel like sometimes I have to pry people over to even watch sports, which is just insane to me. I'm like, what do you do when you're off time? But I feel like it brings everyone together. And at least if you don't like football, you don't understand it, or just, if you don't like it, you don't like it. I'm not going to blame you, but you can at least be there and enjoy the music and enjoy the halftime show and all the commercials and festivities. So I think it's a part of Super Bowl Sunday. But you know what I hate? And it's a little nitpick back in my day thing. They didn't used to leak shit. And now I feel like companies will release their Super Bowl commercial just to get some extra marketing, because obviously the price of the Super Bowl commercials increased tenfold. So they obviously rerun the commercial. But I want it to be like the shock factor. Like, I've already seen the instant cart one with Benson Boone and Ben Stiller. I'm excited to see the full one, but I've seen the preview like a couple times. I'm like, it's not fun.
Shout out Washington native. I don't know if he's a Hawks fan. Let's assume Hawks fan. Benson Boone, by the way. Good karma. Good karma.
Let's take a look really quick before we shift to our last Super Bowl stigma. The cost of Super Bowl commercial in 2025. Let's just see.
Insane.
Approximately the cost of a 30-second Super Bowl commercial in 2025, which is obviously we don't necessarily know this year, but it is approximately $8 million for 30 seconds. So even if you think the commercial's stupid, just be like, that was an $8 million mistake.
Insane. Wow.
Insane. But as we're putting a close to the Super Bowl, and we wish the Seahawks the best of luck, everybody have a great time with the 12s. If you're in Santa Clara, if you're in Seattle, if all over the world, we're going to need you. Be screaming at your television, in the stands, at your fellow 49er fan. But
let's do, last thing before we skip on, before we go to here. How awesome is it that we took over the Niners Stadium?
Oh, absolutely. Great.
Darnold
we have a
everywhere.
banner of Sam Darnold on there.
Awesome. Electric, dude.
It's, not too electric because there's the electric substation.
Actually, it is too electric. That's proven. It is significant. It's way too electric.
Yeah, we can't bring the power to 11 over there. We'll chill out in San Jose State, but yeah, I mean, dude, let's have some surge protectors around just in case, because it's getting too electric over there. But last but not least, Jaros, we've watched a lot of Super Bowls in our day. What is your favorite non-Seahawks Super Bowl? Because obviously we've been graced with a couple. Win, loss, got 2 losses and a win. Now we're back in it. In between, what has your favorite been?
Dude, I don't know. I don't really know what to say. I honestly had last year. I think it was just maybe recency bias. I think last year was the most fun I've had at a Super Bowl recently. And I don't know if it's just because last year it was my last year in college with all the boys, we had all of our, we didn't bet, but we had like a game going, I guess, where we had all the prop bets made and we picked against each other, and it was just all the felt like that is just peak college fun. That was.
Oh, absolutely.
And I think that's got, and also I was rooting for the Eagles more than the Chiefs. I will say one decision I made is I had Jahan Dotson for longest touchdown score or first touchdown score. Sorry, first touchdown score.
Oh,
I don't remember if you remember what happened, but
yeah,
he caught like the 30-yard bomb and then they rolled him down at the 1. So that would have been Jahan Dotson. That was my only first touchdown score pick on that game was Jahan Dotson. So I think that's a pretty crazy pull. That was pure pain. But what is your favorite Super Bowl?
I think we've had a lot of great Super Bowls in between the Seahawks' last Super Bowl appearance and just growing up. I think we've had a lot. Obviously, the rise of Tom Brady and his dominance. But this one would be one of his losses. I think Super Bowl 52, when the Eagles upset the Patriots with Nick Foles at quarterback.
Yeah, that was
the Philly special. Obviously, in that playoff series, we had Minnesota upset the Saints with the Minneapolis Miracle. This game was in Minnesota, so all the vibes were there with Minnesota. Then Eagles put belt to ass, even with their backup quarterback. And it gave Jared Stidham a platform that honestly he should have never been on, because Nick Foles truly defied the odds. Not only did he come in and drop 41 on the Patriots, the motherfucker caught a touchdown pass. Like, it is insane. It was super cool. Like, Philly's a team, a culture that deserves championship football or just sports in general. And that was just amazing. And for the Tom Brady haters, like I used to be, not anymore, I was like, oh, hell yeah. Like, fuck Tom Brady. But yeah, this Super Bowl was electric.
Yeah, I think in terms of games, that's definitely one of them. Did you see Nick Foles, his tweet before the Stiddy game too?
Because by the time I knew he tweeted something, it was deleted.
It was basically just like, we've seen backup quarterbacks. It was something about along the lines like we've seen backup quarterbacks win in the playoffs before, and then Nick Foles decided that was too rude for him, so he deleted it because he's too nice of a guy.
It's too mean for Nick Foles, and that to be honest, fair game, fair play.
Yeah,
fair play.
Well, I guess let's go win the whole thing. Let's go win a Super Bowl,
win
boys.
The whole damn thing.
Let's go. Cal Raleigh said it best. Let's see that on Sunday.
Let's see it. And hopefully Josh Naylor gets down there. He said during FanFest he wanted to have a team bond. What a team bonding event. Hey guys, do you want to go to the Super Bowl to watch our hometown team potentially win their second championship? Yeah, I think people are going to go, Josh. If you want to go, buy your damn ticket, Josh. So get down
Yeah.
there. But we have plenty more things to cover. This is going to be a little bit of a longer episode. We thought about splitting it into two, but we're just going to take the pressure off J. Ross to have to edit a mini-sode. We're going to go right in. We're just going to talk about this will probably be the quickest breakdown we've had in a while, but the Seattle Kraken, they're hot.
I got it. Kraken are good. We're looking good. Goaltender's good. Scoring goals. We're in a playoff spot. Somehow
Road
competing
dog.
for first in the Pacific. This road trip is huge. Winning in Vegas is huge. We need to win in Anaheim on the road. Let's be in a good spot going into the Olympic breaks. I'm sorry. Way more stuff has happened for Sounders, for Mariners, Super Bowl, Kraken. We love you, but we're moving on. Next.
Right. Really quick. Kraken, hell yeah, beating the Vegas Knights on the road. And then they're just like East Coast demons. So, I mean, if they do sneak into like the Stanley Cup and make a deep run, dude, I'm serious. Like, they play so fucking well on the road that they just need to start showing up in Climate Pledge. So let's even it out, keep this win streak going. But great job, fellas. And yeah, we'll have plenty more episodes to talk more about the Kraken as they're going through the season, but we got to go because we got Sounders, we got Mariners. Let's just get it started. Break the news for us, J. Ross, the Seattle Sounders. Big move.
Well, Fatty said, let's go. Let's change it to, here we go. Boys, our star boy is finally gone. Sadly, Brody decided to time his vacation at the worst possible time.
We lost Brody too.
Yeah. Heard he's staying over there. $1.4 million transfer fee. I'm just kidding. Obed is finally gone, and this has been Brody is blowing me up, crying over the phone, grumpy, pissed. You'll see his TikTok. He's not as happy about it as I am. Long story short, it's kind of confusing, but as of right now, when we're filming this, Nico Moreno, Jeremiah O'Shea, and all the Sounders insiders are saying that the sale is for 3 to 4 million euros, I believe. 3 million euros is $3.5 million. So, somewhere in that range with a 20% sell-on clause. Clubs in Spain, Atlético Madrid, they're claiming that they paid 8 million euros for him. So I'm very confused. I think I trust more around that 3 to 4 million range. So we'll say $3 to $4 million somewhere in there to get Obed Vargas. But it seems like the 20% sell-on clause is confirmed. He had 11 months left on his contract, right? And so less than a year left on his contract. A talent like this, MLS, he's the best U22 player in the league. That is not a biased Sounders fan saying this. The MLS publishes a list every year, Fatty, called Top 22 Under 22, which is exactly what it sounds like. Best players in the league that are young. The MLS is driving itself to become a selling league, a leapfrog league where players can come from South America, from Europe's lower leagues, come to the MLS, make a name, and move on. And of all those guys, all these names coming over, Obed was at the top of that list. He was huge. He's sadly for me, flipped his allegiance. He is a Mexican full international. We saw him play for the full national team a week or so ago on the last international break, but he is a star. The other cool part about this story is, for those that don't know, Obed grew up in Alaska. He was a diehard Athletic fan. He grew up idolizing Antoine Griezmann. And it's a pretty cool story when you think about it. He came from Alaska, moved to Seattle. Athletic's his dream club. He got to play against them when Atleti was here in the Club World Cup. He played well. Roldan was our best player, but he played well, played strong. Clearly was good enough to impress him because they went out and spent money to buy the kid. But you saw him before the game, his interaction with Griezmann. He was just fully starstruck. And with some of the names you play in the MLS now, like these kids don't really get starstruck. He was fully just smile ear to ear, like getting to see his idol. And it's pretty cool because now he gets to go play with him. Now,
absolutely.
A lot of people are bummed out because this is a talent that we were seeing possible sales to Mexico for 10 million plus, right? The hard part is 11 months left on his deal.
Right.
What are you going to do?
Him a little bit more as a rental.
And so he wanted to go to Europe, and I think that there are two sides of this coin. Yes, the Sounders could have gotten more for him if they would have sold him a window or two ago. We could have doubled our money. But on the flip side, I do respect the Sounders for the fact that it is in the club's ethos to prioritize the player, be a club where players want to come play for the Sounders. We see guys like Jordan Morris choose Sounders over going to Europe. And then once they stay here, we reward them. He's on a DP contract. As controversial for some people as that is, that's the way it works. I'm not going to say what some people are, Brody, but the Sounders pride themselves in being a club where if you come to Seattle, we will treat our players right. And that's what the Sounders did here with Obed. He was an academy kid. 7 years ago, he started playing for the youth team, moved down from Anchorage to play for the Sounders Academy. He came all the way up, and the Sounders knew who his team was. They knew where he wanted to go. They knew he wanted to go to Europe. And so it's been reported the Sounders had offers to sell him to places like Mexico, but they knew that's not where Obed wanted to go. They held out, and they got him his dream European move. And so I do have a lot of respect for the Sounders for that. And 3 to 4 million, not the biggest fee, but that's not nothing. I'm not going to go all in the weeds of salary cap talk for MLS right now because it's overcomplicated, it's stupid, and just like every other league in the US, the salary cap exists, but it's not real, right?
Right.
But because it was above 3 million, we are able to convert that into GAM. So it's not like the Sounders have no options. Okay, we don't have an international roster spot right now because we traded them away. One, they're pretty easy to trade for. A couple $100,000 will get the job done. Two, with the addition of the cash fur, this gives us a good chunk of money to go bring in an American from within the league. I don't know who we're going to target, but you'd like to think the Sounders, after losing arguably confirm one of our best players, arguably our best player in the midfield, and not replacing him with a bona fide MLS starter because Hassani Dotson's been hurt for 2 years straight. You'd like to think the Sounders will go out and sign someone to replace him. The other thing that's cool back on the Obed side of it, supposedly he's receiving his Spanish passport in a couple months. His mom has Spanish nationality, I guess. So it was just a perfect fit for him to go play for Atletico Madrid. And
That's awesome.
apparently Leverkusen is trying to sign him too. Big club in Germany who has proven to develop and invest in American players. But Atleti was the team for Obed. So I really do. I respect the fact that the Sounders held out and got him his dream move. And I don't know for the casuals really understand how cool it is, but seeing the Sounders on a Here We Go tweet is pretty freaking huge. I don't really know how to describe it, Fatty, to a non-soccer nerd, but Fabrizio Romano is if Jeff Passan, Shams,
Right.
like everyone was on steroids. This guy does not sleep. And the fact that we were big enough to have him post the Sounders, Here We Go, that's pretty freaking cool. And let's not bat an eye at a 20% sell-on clause. Like, I know there are people that wanted it to be more. 20% is a pretty fat number. Like, if
Right.
Obed ends up getting
So kind of, I know you don't want to get into the weeds of it, but do explain the sell-on clause for those who might not know, because obviously the money is going to be face value, whatever it's confirmed, whether it's 4 million, 8 million in between, but the sell-on clause, kind of explain that and how the Sounders are going to be benefiting from that in the future based on Obed's career over in Europe.
So, one, honestly, the sell-on clause is pretty simple. It's just the money side. Like, when you say the 3 or 4 to 8 million is going to be the same no matter what, what's confusing is no, it's not, because in the MLS, there's a salary cap. And so basically, if you make a sale, you convert money to a bunch of different pots and you can spend it in different ways based on how
Okay.
you pay for a player. If you spend that money on their salary, and then obviously if you have DPs, you can spend it,
Right.
whatever.
Mhm.
The Sounders, I think it's confirmed. I'm not going to say 100%, but we'll say sure. Have said it's a 20% sell-on clause. And all that means is if Athletic go on and sell Obed, whatever they sell him for, the Sounders get 20% of it. And
That's
so
nuts.
what's crazy though is like, it's not like we're talking about some like old fart, never doesn't really have the potential to go make another jump. Like, Obed is 20 years old, center mid, full international for Mexico. Like, even if he ends up being a bit of a flop and he ends up getting sold back to Liga MX somewhere else in Europe, 20% of whatever he goes for is going right
Right.
back in our pocket. And if he ended up being developed into one of the best players in North America, which he's hyped up to be, let's say he somehow goes and becomes a $50 million player, which isn't crazy because Ricardo Pepi almost went for 40 million in this window. Goes for 50 million, all of a sudden that's 10 more million in our pocket, right? Just for
Right.
free, just for us hanging out over here. And so
Absolutely.
I do think the Sounders made the best of not the best situation in this sale. Yes, ideally, would we have sold him a year ago? Would we have got 13 million for him? We would have already reinvested another guy. Absolutely. But sometimes the reality is in the industry of sports, you can't, it's not like playing manager mode. You can't just get rid of a guy because that's how
Right.
you make people not want to play for your club. And I do respect, kind of similar to, I guess, the Mariners at time, where we really do have like a club philosophy, and this really proved to live up to that. Whether you agree with the philosophy or not, I do respect the Sounders to, as we crack another Diet Coke, I do
Sorry.
respect the Sounders for sticking, to what they believe in. And so I'm happy for this move. It might just be because I'm happy for Obed. And the only bummer is this is now one more jersey I do have to go out and spend another $200 on, but it will be
Right.
worthy. I do want to flex. Last time something like this happened, Jordan Morris to Swansea, did buy that kit. Jordan Morris probably played a total of like 74 minutes for Swansea. Do have his kit. So hopefully this
Yeah.
time it works out a lot better than Morris to Swansea did. But all in all, I think he's going to kill it. I think La Liga is a good fit for him. Atleti sadly also brought in Mendoza, another midfielder from Elche, I believe, for 15 million. So he definitely has competition in that midfield role. They already have another North American there in the midfield in Johnny Cardoso, but Obed and Johnny Cardoso are not even close to the same player in terms of how they play. So it will be interesting to see what he does with it. I don't know how he necessarily fits into that Diego Simeone system. So that'll be interesting. But nonetheless, it's always fun to see guys that you have a deep connection to go tear it up in Europe. Like, it makes it so much more fun to watch a Champions League game and now be like, okay, I want Atleti to win because I want Obed to go make a Champions League run. That just makes it so much more fun.
Right, absolutely. No, I think it's a great move. Like you said, very wholesome, great story. We wish him nothing but the best in La Liga, and definitely going to be rooting for him. And I hope to God that the Seattle Pro Shop gives the Atletico Madrid Pro Shop a call and be like, dude, this guy's going to be ordering a jersey, and you better get it to him quick.
Yeah, I don't want to have to go full Karen in Spanish because I will struggle with that. That might be a problem. So
Yeah, we're
who
gonna need
knows?
some Google Translate on the
There's a
Karen.
legitimate chance that I order an Obed Atleti jersey and it gets here in half the time it took for a jersey to get from Seattle
That
to
would
here.
be interesting. Please do. Please
That
test it out.
I'll start a timer. We'll keep tabs on that. But Obed was not the only big move. And basically, me and Fatty had this talk, we're like, okay, another Seahawks only pod, essentially. Basically, it's what we were planning on. Fatty made this spreadsheet, and we actually haven't deleted it yet. It says Seahawks, and then it says Kraken, rapid fire, Sounders, rapid fire, and our next topic, Mariners, rapid fire. And then all of the Seattle sports world decided to hop on the bandwagon of taking over the news this week.
Today,
Yeah.
as of the recording date of February 2nd, they decided to set the world on fire. So yeah, I said, you know what? We said maybe we split it up, maybe we do a longer episode. So but yeah, any more Sounders before we shift to the last team of the day?
Yeah, Sounders underway preseason. It'll be interesting to see once we can start actually watching these preseason games, kind of seeing. I think I already said it, but I'm assuming Hassani Dotson just slides right into that role next to Roldan. And it's not like Dotson is not a legit MLS player. He is. It's just hard when you're replacing a guy like Obed Vargas. And I don't know if it'll be a replacement by committee type of thing. Maybe Schneider Brunel steps up and fill his role. These are all topics we can discuss once we get a little bit closer to the season and can kind of fill it out. But seeing Peppo on the field in training is cool to see. I thought it'd take longer for that to happen. And who knows? We forget that we have guys like Areola, who was out all last year with a torn ACL. These are all fun storylines we can go over when we get closer. And hopefully, once we start talking about it, maybe the Sounders will have another target at some point. But you never know. But I think it's time for us to move on to the last of this group of Seattle team they're talking about today. Another team that made a big trade, which was posted by the Mariners and finalized literally
Yep.
Can we say
Although it
minutes?
took
Yeah, we've been
forever to
recording for
develop throughout the day. I mean, it was absolutely
not even the
antagonizing.
day. I feel like this talk has been going on for weeks and weeks.
Months.
It's so, but
Yeah,
breaking
I
news.
mean, before I kind of get into the trade, I do have a couple of housekeeping items that I wanted to kind of go over as the Mariners offseason has developed and just kind of paint the picture of how we got to acquiring another all-star player to add to our lineup. So, Eugenio Suarez, we've talked about it. He was my on ice a couple weeks ago. Just didn't really know what his market was, and it was a telltale sign with the contract that he did sign with his old club. I guess he didn't really come up with the Reds, but he had one of his prime eras of his career in Cincinnati. So he signs back with the Reds. $15 million is a 1-year deal. And then there's a $16 million mutual option. So both the player and the club have to agree to accept that. So now he goes back to the National League where he can actually be a DH this time around. So I fully anticipate him to be a DH, play third, but very happy for him. He obviously, this was probably the end of the Eugenio Suarez in the Mariner teal, but he gave us so many great memories. Reacquiring him was cinema. A lot of people thought it was going to be more impactful than Josh Naylor. I didn't, but it was cool that we got him back. He got a great playoff run, but at the same time, that price point for being a clubhouse guy who's probably going to hit 5th or 6th in our order just wasn't going to work with, like J. Ross said, the club philosophy. But that being said, some more bad news is unfortunately Logan Evans, starting pitcher for the Mariners. It was announced randomly that he received Tommy John surgery just last week, so he will be out for the entire year. And it's one of those surgeries where it's just like the ACL. It's just going to take a long, long time. And some pitchers don't bounce back, and some bounce back more than ever. So Logan, we wish you the best in your recovery. We know that you have the full support of the team and your family. So obviously that is kind of a glaring mark there for Seattle heading into spring, relatively injury free. But yeah, I mean, J. Ross, any thoughts about those little 2 tidbits before we kind of get into the swing of things of closing this episode out?
I mean, we all saw Eugenio thing going this way. I kind of figured if we were going to bring him back, it would have already happened. So I'm not too surprised by that at all. And then the Evans injury, I mean, it just sucks. And it's just kind of life of being a baseball pitcher, right? Seems like it happens. Everyone has to get it sooner or later. And sadly, it was his time, which sucks to see. But, maybe he'll bounce back bigger. When he comes back, he'll have a bigger role in this bullpen. Who knows what our rotation will look like by the time he gets back if we move some arms around.
Sure.
So maybe he'll have a spot to move higher up in that order. But I think it's time that we talk about the name that's been circling around Seattle forever.
Pull him up on the screen.
Mariners finally did it.
On the screen.
Finally.
Brendan Donovan,
what's your initial reaction?
Brendan Donovan is a Seattle Mariner, and that's really all the instant reaction it is. They finally did it. There have been talks dating back to the last trade deadline of acquiring Brendan Donovan. He had an all-star year last year where he bat 287 on a relatively bad Cardinals team. So the stats, if you're going to go ahead and look at stats, I mean, his 50 RBIs, think about where he hit in the lineup and think about who he was hitting around. But this guy is a defensive contact first hitter. And it's just a need that Seattle, it was a very niche need for a team like Seattle, but this is all part about retooling and getting him, from what we've heard from St. Louis about him being a clubhouse leader and an ultimate competitor, positional versatility, plays second, third, and the corner outfield. I mean, it's just like, it just checks all the boxes of what you thought the Mariners could do to get better. As far as what we gave up, I'm not going to lie, it was a lot, but people see names and think we got fleeced, and it's just like, really do your homework on these guys, because we did unfortunately have to add our best buddies, the Tampa Bay Rays, and for some reason ship off Ben Williamson to get this done. But we'll talk about that.
We love a Tampa Bay Rays trade, dude.
Right?
It's like if you were to go into DePoto's phone, it'd be like favorites: mom, dad, Rays in that
exactly
order.
It's right there. They have transacted like hundreds of times in his tenure as Mariners GM. So, so we did give up Ben Williamson to the Rays in order for them to give a comp or I'd be like a composition draft pick, which is just right after the first round, into the second round. And then they gave a prospect to St. Louis. And then St. Louis received Durangelo Sanjay, the switch pitcher, former first round pick from a few years ago. And also within that draft, we also gave up former shortstop, now center fielder Ty Pete. He was, progressing on the Aqua Sox in Class A, and Durangelo made the jump to Double A to develop. But unfortunately, it was just like we kind of had a good issue of, hey, we have too many good prospects. And, unfortunately, if you're going to want to go get an all-star, it's going to cost something. And I was kind of balking at the price a little bit. I mean, 4 players and a comp pick for some guy who has 2 years remaining of club control is just like, I kind of roll my eyes a little bit, but the Cardinals have already been boned all offseason with the terrible deals that they made with the previous regime. So I'm just going to look past it, wish the prospects the best like I always do. But you know what? I am so hyped for Brendan Donovan. I think he's going to be an absolute game changer and solidify the leadoff hitter role that Seattle's been desperately trying to find for these past couple of years. So I'm stoked, man.
Yeah, and I think his versatility is like exactly what we needed, where it's like second base, third base, the 2 spots where kind of have question marks around, and it just fits in perfectly. Those 2 spots he can fill in. They say corner outfield too. He's just exactly what Mariners fans knew we needed, and we've known this for months. That's why this has been circulating online for months and months and months and months. And it's exciting to see a Mariners Instagram post now that won't just be talking about these trade rumors. Like, to finally have it over is awesome.
Yeah.
And I don't think I'm as upset about the package we gave away as you, just because, I mean, like, Williamson, I was high on him, but I mean, you got to give up good players to get good players, right?
For sure.
And then Durangelo, I think the fact that he was an ambidextrous pitcher really hyped him up a little bit more for like the casual, like 13-year-old fan watching, to the point where a lot of people didn't even know that he's only pitching right in spring this year. Like, he's getting rid of the left hand. So it's, I mean, he's still what, like 99. So it's still, not like he's a scrub. He's legit pitching right.
It's very talented. His journey has been awesome. And truly, like, when the Mariners drafted him, I thought, man, what if they turned him into an Andres Munoz type closer where you're not putting a lot of innings on your arm, but you're still throwing right and left-handed. So he had some pretty up and down years in our system. But I mean, I'm going to root for him on the Cardinals. As far as Ty Pete goes, this is a guy who came in as another shortstop and was kind of bullied out of that by Colt Emerson. So he was willing to shift toward the outfield, and he's been doing pretty well as a defensive center fielder. He just really needs to put the bat together. So
yeah, that's like the biggest thing.
And the last point of the episode, and it's just like Ben Williamson, that hurts. It does. I really wanted to see him get a shot. I wanted to see him get a shot for more than a month. Defensive first, third baseman. I don't even think he's going to be playing third base in Tampa, but I mean, that's their problem to figure out. But it honestly opens the gap. It opens the gap for Cole Emerson to make the team in spring, and that is just electric. I mean,
that was my first thought. That was the first thing when I saw Williamson's name. I'm like, wow, Mariners are all in on Colt Emerson, which I love.
Colt. They've been monitoring his progress throughout the minors. He ended in Tacoma, which is an amazing sign for last year, and they've just been keeping up with him over the spring. He's going to have a killer opportunity to have some reps in spring training. It's going to be like a Cole versus Colt saga. Both are great prospects and former first round picks. But honestly, there's a scenario in my head where they both are in the lineup, and that's just simply having Cole at second and having Colt at third, and then putting Brendan Donovan in right or left field and having that person DH. So it's like, if Randy wants to DH a couple days, toss Brendan Donovan out and left, and it's like, oh my God, this might be cinema. But I'm just super excited. I mean, it's just like acquiring an all-star player, not plummeting your farm. It's like, everyone, I think, hates us because we're doing baseball the right way. Dodgers are buying everybody. Everyone's pissed at their own teams for not having a good farm system or going out and trading. And we just do the cool stuff that no one else does. And I think people just fucking hate us because they ain't us. You know what I'm saying, J. Ross?
I mean, it's the biggest. I mean, without our farm system, this wouldn't happen, right? And the Mariners have built this team. Like you said, they built this organization the right way to put us in a spot where we're able to part way with 4 prospects with a pick like that and still have a good prospect pool.
Yeah. Still have a top 5 farm system. And it's just like, And then it's just like, oh, well, if they wanted to do that, they could have kept the farm and just paid Polanco and Suarez. Well, Polanco and Suarez are making a combined $35 million this year versus Brendan Donovan and Rob Refschneider are our two free agents or, outside coming in. They're making 11 million. So that's like 15, $16 million swing to where guess where that money goes when it's time to acquire a big name at the trade deadline. The Mariners are going to go all in. If someone like a Juan Soto comes in, you never know. So it's just like, I think this team is in great shape pending injury in a long time in opening day. I mean, I think that opening day, we're all like, this is our team. We'll get to the trade deadline. I honestly think from game 1 to 162, I believe in this team. I don't see any noticeable holes if the prospects do pan out in the order. But man, it's just a great time to be alive for a Mariners fan. This is what we deserve, man. Josh Naylor, perfect fit, extended him. Brendan Donovan, we would not let the Cardinals sleep. We brought our best bros, the Rays, to come in and get this deal done. We harassed their asses and we got their best player. So I'm just freaking hyped, man.
It feels so fun to have an opening day and not have like a, no offense to him, but like a Miles Mastroboni type guy. Who I'm
Right,
like,
exactly.
this guy, I'm going to convince myself he's really good. And I'm going to tell all my Mariners fans that he's really good. And then when I go talk to my best friend who's a Yankees fan, he's like, dude, what are you talking about? Like, I don't have to experience that this year, which is pretty cool. So
yeah, we have proven players now. So it's nice. It's very fun. And all that I wish for Brendan Donovan is hit leadoff and hit the damn ball, get on base, stay healthy, and show us a little bit position versatility on defense. But I'm just excited to get him in the clubhouse. And we are less than 60 days from opening day, the World Baseball Classic. We're gonna have so much to talk about these next couple weeks on this show. Like, it's not gonna end when the Seahawks win the Super Bowl. This is just awesome. It's just a great time to be alive for a Seattle sports fan.
It feels like it turned around so quick. Like, it feels like not that long ago, I was like, Seattle sports really give me a headache. And it's like what you said a couple weeks ago. First time. Yeah. It is so awesome. The fact that I'm like, okay, the Hawks are about to win the Super Bowl, but guess what? Kraken are playing good. Sorry, we skipped over you guys. And I'm excited for baseball to start. And I'll get excited for the Sounders. The Sounders always find a way to make MLS soccer season fun. Seattle sports is in a great spot. This is the best run that we've been on ever. And I'm just going to soak in every single second of it. But any last words, Fatty? Anything else? We actually ended up not making this episode crazy long.
No,
so
yeah, 15 minutes longer than usual. So yeah, I mean, we're pretty good at this now. I'm gonna say, like, this is probably our 10th episode. We're excited to have Brody back after the Super Bowl off his vacation. But yeah, we are just, I mean, the material is just freaking flying. So we're gonna have to do a little bit more personality wise to get through the dormant periods. But man, I don't know when that's gonna be. So super excited. I hope everyone has a great, safe Super Bowl weekend. And man, I would just love a second Lombardi in Seattle.
Well, we're going to. If you enjoyed this episode, if you're enjoying all the content, boys, we've been ramping it up on TikTok, on Twitter a lot recently. Sorry, X, not Twitter. The Instagram's up and running. Haven't been totally active over there, but that's not necessarily our main focus right now. Nonetheless, boys, leave a like. Do not forget to subscribe. Have a great weekend. Have a safe, fun Super Bowl. And we will see you guys not only next week, but we will see you guys at the Super Bowl parade.
See you at the Super Bowl parade, baby. Let's go.